Om, 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 Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Brahma Mirastriparan Takare, Banu Shashi Bamisito, Buddha Sha Guru Sha Shukra, Shani Rahu Keteva, Sarve Graha Shanti Kara Bhavantu, Om, Om Gurave Namaha. Well, greetings and welcome to another episode of Cosmic Kev 100. This is your weekly astro video zine where we take the planets, the houses, the signs of the zodiac, and we try to make sense of them, mostly in accordance with Vedic astrology, although I do get into the sidereal, East Indian, Jyotish, Vedic astrology as well, which is where the planets are currently in accordance with the constellations. And Western astrology is seasonal. And so it's based on the seasons. And back in 150 AD, the planets, the signs, matched the seasons. Now, of course, there's people who say, well, what about Ophiuchus and these other constellations? You know, I mean, maybe eventually a new tradition will be formed or something, but for now, this is pretty much what works. And there's like 5,000 years of history. And at least, you know, there's close to 2,000 years of history in Western astrology as we know it. Now, one of the things that happened is in the 1700s they discovered Uranus, and that happened with a telescope. And that was also around when there were a lot of revolutions, and we discovered using electricity. So those are things that we associate with Uranus. And then in the mid-1800s they discovered Neptune, and Neptune deals with spirituality and masses. And there were faster ships, you know, it deals with water and wash. And there were a lot of religions that came out during that time. The Baha'is, the Mormons, I guess the Jehovah's Witnesses later on. I think the Nazarenes got out of the Methodists at that time. And not that I'm, you know, affirming these, but different sects arose at that time. And then, of course, around 1930, they discovered Pluto, which was demoted, then remoted to a planet again. I think it doesn't really matter. And that's when we had transmitters. Radio, television was discovered then, and there was a real transformation in the way we communicated. And so that's also part of this. Now, this is the horoscope for beginning with Friday the 13th. And 13 is a number of love in Judaism, and 13 is also a placement of like the number 4. So there's sort of a grounded energy about it as well. And it happens, you know, Friday is a Venus ruled day anyhow. So more love, you know, that's basically what I'll say of this. Now, looking, where are we going to find the moon? I mean, it'll say that, you know, in Western astrology it's in Capricorn, but you're not going to find it in the constellation of Capricorn. Today you'll find it in the constellation, at least the early part of it, of Sagittarius, and then later on today it should go into Capricorn. Yeah. And so, in the lunar mansion that rules the last degrees of Sagittarius, the first degrees of Capricorn, is known as Uttara Ashada. Now, Uttara Ashada is one symbol for it is the elephant's goat. It's ruled by the sun, and the sun's concerned with soul purpose and truth. This is not like the best place for Jupiter, because the Capricorn part of it, it's 1/4 Sagittarius, 3/4 Capricorn. is where Jupiter gets debilitated, because Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. And when we look at Jupiter, it's like we're not dealing with just the mundane material things of the world. We're moving towards faith. We're moving towards something, a miracle, basically. And this is a time period where we need a miracle. And this is a time period also where people look at the surface of things, but they don't look very deep. And Sagittarius in general wants us to get into the depths of things and not just look at the surface. It starts out with a Mula Nakshatra. It's like, get there deep, go deep. Ketu, past life karma, south node of the moon, go there deep. But this is also a moon for Friday that can bring about a victory. It's a good moon for starting a business. There's a lot of positive connotations with Uttara Shada, and since there's elements of Jupiter and Saturn in there too, along with the Sun rulership, we can say that there's a lot of wisdom here, and focusing on things that make us wise is a good idea as we start the day. Now, we've got a full moon happening, I think a little after 7:30 on Tuesday night, the 17th. And yeah, 7:30, no, hang on, sorry. Yes, it happens at 7:34 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And the moon will be in Pisces in both the sidereal zodiac, the Jyotish, and in the Western tropical zodiac. And the sun will be in Virgo. Like right now, today, Friday, sun's still going to be in Leo until probably late Monday night or something. And then it moves into actual constellation of Virgo, which is really different. And so what we're seeing here is our ability to be a good student and a good analyzer combined with having faith. The Purva Bhadra or Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra is where the full moon is, and it's considered the front legs of the funeral pyre. So there's a lot of transformation here. There's a lot of change right here coming on. And what I've noticed, especially in like a season of politics, is people tend to look mostly on the surface. They don't really go very deep as to what the implications. They don't look at who's sponsoring candidates and things like that, and I think that's kind of problematic, but everyone wants a feel-good situation, and I think it's nice to have the pretty present with a nice wrapping on it, and so I'm seeing some nice wrapping, but I don't know if there's real substance, or if it's even possibly a Pandora's box could emerge. And so it's it's interesting. There's an element of harshness, I've seen with both major party candidates. One mainly with their history, both of them actually, mostly with their history. And so it's really hard to determine if there's really been a change of consciousness that's legitimate. And that's how it is with us. It's like, we have to turn the fiery darts of the enemies into flowers. We have to take refuge in the divine in order to get out of this mess we're in, cosmically, internationally, nationally, and probably in your own local areas, in your family, and your communities. And love wins. Love your enemies. That's really what it comes down to. If you're like, oh, you're a terrible person because you're going to do this and that, you haven't got it, my friend. You don't know. You haven't tasted the elixir that brings healing in the world. And that elixir is love no matter what. Treat everyone as if they were your child that you care about, even when they do wrong. That's the answer. Okay, so with that, we're going to go through every sign of the zodiac here in the Western tradition now. Starting with you, Aries. Greetings, Aries. Welcome to your horoscope. I mean, I'd say this lunar cycle coming up here and the sun moving theoretically closer to your seventh house, and that we won't get to the autumn equinox until next weekend. But one thing about Virgo and Pisces is that there's a lot of nurses and people that are in the health industry in both of these signs that I've seen. And so watching your health, taking care of your health, having critical analysis with Virgo, but also having faith and universal love and acceptance in Pisces. That's the place that we're going to this week. And with Mars in Cancer, we have to see that that's a debilitated Mars. That's not really a place where we get a lot of courage, and that's like fighting in the family and fighting in the household. Since the fourth house is fixed assets, if you got guns you want to sell, that might work out well for you. Greetings, Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope. So, Virgo time generally is a heart-opening time for Taurus. This should be a good time. This should be a time where you're able to open up your heart. And that's where it's at. The wisdom of the heart's a lot better than this stuff. And what I'm seeing from people mostly is that they're all up here, and at the end of the day, no matter what happens, we're going to have to get up and love each other. This is complete and utter stupidity. And if you don't think that there are banks and huge corporations that are puppet masters of both the major parties, and you have missed out. You have lost your guidance. You've lost your compass of history. So I really would just say relax, relax. God is still in control, even though, the devil might be in the government and the details of the things and the prince and power of the air. The divine master is coming, and we got to prepare our hearts for that rather than this clown show that's taking place. Yeah, and I'm part of the clown show. I get it. I am the sacred clown. Some of the things we're looking at too is that, there's a sense that we can transform, that we can change our hearts. There's this thing about getting together with people that are really wise. And the wisdom is, where are we going 7 generations? I'll give that one out to my friend Bear, I know that Bear loves the K and T team to an extent, thinks that's a good idea, but I know Bear is also a very deep guy. Anyhow, a lot of unpredictable things, my friends who are Tauruses, because of Uranus there. Greetings, Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope. I think anyone who's a Gemini rising, this is a very elevating time for you. It's also an introspective time where you really got to look within. You got to take care of your parents. If you have parents that are alive still, family, older adults, aunts and uncles, aging, take care of them. Deal with your fixed assets. Deal with the practical things. Here in the northern hemisphere, especially if you're north of 35 degrees latitude, you're getting ready that, winter time is coming and things aren't going to be as pleasant always to be outside. Unless you're, in California or in a Mediterranean climate at that latitude. And so you have to kind of get yourself ready, prepare for things that are taking place. Looking within, helping family, solidifying for yourself, working with fixed assets. All of these are part of your horoscope this week. Okay. All right. Greetings, Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope. I think the only one who really benefits from Mars in Cancer is Cancer itself. Although part of it is have you noticed yourself being a little more agitated lately or perturbed? And if that's the case, that's Mars. Or are you more interested in sports and getting yourself in physically good shape? You see winter's coming on, people tend to put the pounds, they tend to not move around as much, get kind of sluggish, and it's weather's finally cooling down a little bit. It's like, wow, moving and exerting some physical energy is a lot easier, and so I've heard that, movement is mostly important in fall and winter. And then there's the things like what's got to you that makes you so upset. I think one of the most beautiful things to say is that's partially true. We don't have to take sides. It's not winner take all. It's what takes all is the love in our hearts. And Virgo is all about, like critical little details and stuff. And so Virgo rules your third house. This is your siblings. This is your ability to communicate. This is your ability to work with your hands. This is your ability to express yourself, and maybe some kind of artistic thing, playing music, painting. All these things come out in third house, period. And Mars really activates the third house in a positive way. And you're a homebody, and you're enjoying your home time right now. And greetings, Leo. Welcome to your horoscope. So, your sun rule, Virgo's in the second house. Mercury's in the second house. Mercury a lot of times also deals with wealth. Mercury deals with money. Money is in the second house. Second house is also how we talk. It's all this stuff in here. Neck, shoulders, mouth, sinuses, lower face, and so having dental work done, learning to speak in a way that communicates well, and learning how to be a better listener, putting your heart in. Also family, other members of the family that kind of come in, how your self-image was formed between like 5 and 14. A lot of this is second house stuff, and that's part of the focus. And then there's change coming, and this full moon, it's going to be a doozy for you. I'm just going to say that, and just relax. Remember to love, and remember, one of the symbols for that Purva Bhadrapada is the sword, and so people kind of get all caught up in their causes, and there is no cause worthwhile except for love. And greetings, Virgo. Welcome to your horoscope. Got to send out some birthday shouts today. Happy birthday, first of all, to my brother Mikey. Mikey's turning 60 on the 14th, on Saturday. My son-in-law Ryan Preston is turning 29 on Saturday the 14th, and kind of a courageous young man who's a city council member, is also born the exact same day Ryan was in 1995, turning 29, is Addison Winslow. So happy birthday to you, 14th born, and Jessica, who I work with at New Earth, is turning 30 this day. I know a lot of people born there. I knew this guy named Pete Swanky. I know a gal named Teresa in Yuma, Arizona too. There's a lot of people born on the 14th of September. So happy birthday. And it's like your intelligence comes through. You become a better student. There's a certain amount of wealth coming to you. Relationships, they have to be approached with patience and a spiritual vision. Otherwise, those things are not going to work this year. Full moon will probably more than likely involve those relationships, and hopefully in a good way. Greetings to Libra. Welcome to your horoscope. Venus is in the first house. That makes things really lovely and yummy in some ways, but it's also like you're in this 12th house transit, which is about letting go. It's about releasing, and it's kind of about laying low, because this is a place where sometimes we have no vision as to what's really going on. It's like behind our back, and secretive stuff happens here. And sometimes it's a place of loss where we have to let go of things. And so the best thing we can really do is have compassion in ourselves, and And you know, it's a good time for a retreat, a vacation, especially like a spiritual retreat, just some kind of self-improvement thing. That's going to help because, you know, in another week and a half or week and a couple of days, you're going to be, you know, you're going to be the flavor of the month again. Greetings, Scorpio, and welcome to your horoscope. You know, our social life is, as Scorpios, is the 11th house, and Virgo rules that social life. And also sometimes older siblings or people at work that are higher ups that want to help you or socialize with you could happen there. Also the world of politics, you know, the whole thing of that. And there's a lot of posturing, and some of it's based on real stuff, but a lot of it's really based on primal reptilian brain stuff, who we like, who we want to see, and everyone's important. Even the person that's just like begging for money on the street corner that just seems disgusting to you, they're important too. And may be in some situations better or in a higher place than the wealthiest person in the world. We don't always understand it. You know, we get disciplined in this kind of spiritual karmatic world, and we have to get our focus from a lot of different places. That's why I try to look at both sides of the algorithms and things. Otherwise, you're going to get completely brainwashed. And, you know, it's okay, you know, you have a social life and you kind of want to cooperate with them and be on a winning team. It feels better to belong, but frankly, it's a bigger deal when you can make peace with an enemy, when you can see their point of view. That's when our bigger self comes out. And you know, with Mars in Cancer, it's not hurting you as much as other people, but you know, you might be finding your kids are bothering you more, and you have to work on, you know, your cardiovascular stuff, and you need to, and then also, you know, it's like you're ready for an adventure, but it could be a dangerous adventure. Okay, greetings, Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope, and thank you for being here. You know, Jupiter in the 7th house. I mean, I've said this before. For Sagittarius women, this is a really good position. If you are not in a relationship, or even if you are in a relationship, to appreciate your husband, your boyfriend, your fiance, your loved one, your partner. Bringing in more love. So Mars is in Cancer. Oh, good God. It's in the 8th house. There's some aggressive, weird stuff that you're not really in control of right now. You're curious about the occult and stuff. Hey, love your enemies. Send blessings on those who persecute you. That is the best thing to do. You know why? Because when people are happy, they don't really want to fight you anymore. They're like, I'm not going to ruin my day. I'm going to just stay in my happiness thing. That's why you pray for blessings on enemies, you know. Keep them occupied in their little happy world, and then they won't give you any trouble. You understand that. And you're kind of one of the more likely ones to get, you know, bent out of shape by the politrical landscape. Yeah. And it's tamasic, you know. In Vedic astrology, we learn about these 3 modes of being. And the first one we'll talk about is the Rajas, and you know, and Venus and Mercury about that. Those are the things we're passionate about. But there are also things that don't really satisfy. We never have enough love, Venus. We never have enough money, Mercury. Never have enough technology, Mercury. Never have enough creativity, Venus. So, I mean, they're good things. They can bring good things, but they're not, they can also bring really negative things. Now, the Tamas are Saturn and Mars and the North Node and the South Node of the Moon. The North and South Node, we don't really have a lot of control over those things. You know, they're kind of shadow planets, so we can't see what's going on. Saturn disciplines us. Saturn is the stop sign. It tells us to slow down, and it's hard, you know, and Saturn's like our need for sleep. And Mars is our need to exert ourselves, and sometimes we exhaust ourselves, and we don't regulate ourselves. Those are both tamasic, and tamasic things kind of destroy, or they kind of mold and decay. And the whole material world is tamasic. The whole world of politics is tamasic. And then there's sattva, which is the moon and Jupiter and the sun. And the sun's about truth. Hey, just be honest. Moon's about, hey, nurture people, help them like you were their mother, you know. And Jupiter is like the wise priest, the wise priestess. It's like, hey, let's not do the things that are going to hurt each other. Let's come back into an alignment that brings blessings. Because you know what? 95% of us want all the same things. And when we forget that, especially during these kind of psyop manipulated years, we lose it completely. We lose it completely. So I'm determined to be at peace no matter what happens. No one's going to take that away from me. It's my birthright. Yeah. Okay, greetings, Capricorn. Welcome to your horoscope. Your key phrase, being I use, Virgo time, lovely time. It's the 9th house. 9th house is luck, good fortune, education, foreign travel, foreign languages, exotic cultures. It's rich, it's a blessing. It also relates to your father, too, and that kind of relationship. And culturally, there's been a real deep wound and tearing down of the father since about the late 60s. And it's really sad because we complain about men a lot, but are we really preparing them to be good fathers? Are we really preparing them to be the kind of people we want? You see, attack never seems, and just negative feedback does not really motivate people, from my experience, to want to improve themselves. And so we have to nurture goodness in each other. That's all. We have to look for the good even when it's hard to see. And if we do that, something better happens. And so that's why I really appreciate people that are able to go into that place. I say, hey, this person seems dark, they're having trouble, but you know what? Maybe I can help them. Maybe we can work together and make things better. I think that is the answer. Or, hey, this person seems to be supporting war, and I think I supported war like 23 years ago, and I made a lot of money. Maybe I should support this person and make some more money off of war. It's amazing how many smart people are not able to see that. But you've got all these insights now because of Pluto and the moon, and there's a lot of transformation going on in your life, especially if you're a late born Capricorn or someone with moon in late degrees or rising signs in late degrees of Capricorn because of Pluto. And the full moon, it'll be about family, friends, and your spiritual community. Greetings, Aquarius. Welcome to your horoscope. Hopefully it won't be too horrible. And it's like the economic aspect's been a little bit slower. It's been a little bit harder for you lately from what I'm seeing. And so you just have to do the practical things, the hard things. I think one of the best things you can do if you need money is to give some away. Help somebody that's even in a rougher, poorer situation than you. It doesn't have to be a lot. But in your heart, that giving more makes space for something fresh to come in. It's like taking a bath. It just takes some of the dirt off of you, and it makes you more attractive. And in that generosity of attraction, you're going to attract more wealth. And that's how it works. And Virgo time is about transformation for Aquarius. It's about letting go. It's about paying attention to your dreams, paying attention to that intuitive inner voice and that guide. And so, yeah. Goodness, here we go. Pisces. Well, Virgo time's been this is the last week we're heading into that partnership thing. And that thing of family and alliance. And I think this is a time where you can have better communication in your relationships. And you can even have maybe better times in the bedroom, even with Venus in the 8th house. I think if you're a male Pisces, really pay attention to your wife or your partner. If they're female, there's something in that. And it's also a time where you can get help from other people. They might be helping you right now. And peaceful communication, the whole Neptune, Saturn, and the full moon coming together, it's like, stay on that spiritual path. This could be a time of a revelation and a renewal, so that when we go into the more difficult cycle for you of the 8th house next week, you'll be just focused on God. You'll be focused on the divine. You'll be focused on the goodness, the mercy, the peace. And that's what I wish for all of you. Goodness, mercy, peace, and thank you so much for subscribing and sharing my videos with other people. And just my prayer for you as we close is to bless these listeners, O Lord. Bless these viewers, O Lord. May all of their full potential to heal, to help, to receive your blessings be amplified this week and the weeks following. Amen. Aho. Tat Sat. Thank you. I love you.